Hello students. Yesterday we had started with a new topic, working capital. Today we would revise the meaning and first 6 factors affecting to it, and then we would move ahead with the remaining 6 factors affecting the working capital, and that would be the last topic of the chapter. After that we are going to solve the 2 case studies which I think you should be solving with me, since now we are not meeting physically in our brick and mortar class setup. I thought it is essential to solve those 2 case studies which I had given in homework. So let us first start with revising the concept of working capital. Working capital means that portion of capital in which you have invested for a short term, that is into current assets of the firm. So why should we have the short term or current assets in our business? So that we can facilitate our smooth day to day operations, or we can manage our routine smoothly. So what are the ingredients of current assets? The examples or the ingredients of working capital or current assets are cash in hand or at bank, marketable securities like stocks, bills receivables, debtors, finished goods inventory, work in progress, raw materials, and prepaid expenses. So, current assets, when we invest into, we do not look for the profitability, because the profitability is generated by investing in long term assets or long term plans like modernization or diversification or expansion. But current assets are used up in maintaining liquidity of the firm, like paying your routine expenses of salaries, other bills, paying to the creditors, or just the miscellaneous expenses like prepaid expenses or insurance premiums. So there should be a balance between liquidity and profitability in a firm. Some part of the current assets are financed through the short term sources like current liabilities that are to be paid within a year, and others are the rest amount of current assets are financed through the long term sources. So the excess of current assets over current liabilities is known as net working capital. We might not have to solve any sum on net working capital in the subject of business studies, but this can be asked as a one marker MCQ. These 6 points we studied yesterday. Let us have a quick look at these points. These are the factors affecting working capital requirements. They are total 12 in number. 6 were explained yesterday, and in the next slide I will be explaining the next 6. So what are the factors affecting the decision of working capital? So when, as a firm or as a finance manager or as a director or promoter of the firm, when you are deciding about the liquidity of the firm, you have to keep certain points in mind. So these are, in other way, determinants of working capital. The first is nature of business. Nature of business means the kind of process or the kind of conversion of raw material that you are having. Say a trading business would need less amount of working capital because there is no processing, while a manufacturing concern would need time in conversion of raw material into a finished product, or the process of manufacturing would consume a lot amount of time, so they may need a good amount of working capital. The second is scale of operations. So there is a direct relationship between working capital and the scale of operations. Large manufacturing company would need higher amount of working capital as compared to the other manufacturing firm having the same type of product but operating at a smaller scale. The third is business cycle. Working capital requirement is also affected by different phases of a business cycle. Like during a boom period, when the business is prosperous, more working capital is needed because you have to meet your increasing demands. And in the other way around, if you have the recession period, when your sales are declining and demand is not much, you may not need a lot investment in working capital, because anyways your stocks are piled up, you have enough debtors and creditors, and you may not sell so much. So you do not need much working capital when there is a slack season. The fourth is seasonal factors. Certain goods are seasonal in nature. We had taken example of woolen goods, mangoes and raincoats yesterday. These products are purely seasonal products. So whenever you have say winters, the sale of woolen garments would be at its peak. And when it is a rainy season, the sale of raincoats or umbrellas would be at its peak. So at such times, a firm engaged in production of such goods would need more amount of working capital. Then comes the production cycle. The meaning of production cycle is the time span between the receipt of raw material and their conversion into finished goods. So more is the time span of this conversion, more working capital you need. Say you are producing cars, then the production cycle of a car is quite bigger than the other products, like you are running a bakery, right? So there your time required to produce bakery items is quite short. So bigger is the production cycle, more amount of investment you would need in your working capital. Sixth point here is credit allowed. It means your credit policy, in which you give liberty to your customers to pay at a later date. So more period you give to your customers to repay or reduce, more amount of working capital you need. Because say you are affecting your sales today on 1st October and you are giving 2 months credit period time, so October and November, so 1st December is the due date, right? So in these 2 months you will have to run your business, you have to pay your bills, you have to pay your raw material supplier, you have to pay for your advertisements and printing and other expenses. So who would finance that, right? That would be financed through the current assets. So if you are giving 2 months period of time, you will have to finance yourself for 2 months. And if you are giving credit of 1 month only, then your working capital need might be lesser, because at the end of 1 month you will get your payments. Certain businessmen also adopt the policy of no credit, all cash. So if you buy through cash, you will get discounts. That is the policy. So in such policies, in such cases, your working capital requirement would be very less. Now the next point is credit availed. So terms of purchase that you have with your suppliers also influence the needs of working capital. If you are getting a good credit, right? If for example you are buying your goods today, your raw material today, and you have to pay after a month or after 2 months or after 3 months, so more is the period you are availing for repayment, less is the working capital you need. This point is exactly opposite to the previous point, credit allowed. Credit allowed is something you are giving to your customers, while credit availed is you are receiving the credit period from your suppliers. So it's good that if you have to pay at a later date, right? If you are getting, says you are given two options, that you have to pay after a month and you have to pay after 2 months. So of course you will be selecting an option of paying after 2 months, so that you have flexibility of using that raw material for 2 months without paying anything, right? So in many cases the firm or the buyers, as you are here, you have to assume that we are buyers, would prefer a longer credit policy given by the suppliers. However, if a firm buys raw materials or other supplies on cash basis but sells the finished good on credit basis, then it would require greater working capital, because when you are buying you have to pay immediately, but when you are selling you are receiving your cash after the credit allowed. So in such case you would need more working capital, because you are paying immediately but you are not receiving immediately. The next point is operating efficiency. Efficiency in managing the raw materials, like it would reflect in your inventory turnover ratio. So your raw materials, if you are handling your raw materials efficiently, you would be reducing the amount tied up in the debtors and receivables. And better sales efforts by the management may reduce the level of raw materials, debtors and finished goods respectively, resulting in lower requirement of working capital. So if you are operating your business well, like you are say your data turnover ratio is higher, your inventory turnover ratio is big, then your stock is continuously rolling, and also your debtors are paying you on time. So if your relations with your debtors and suppliers, if you have good managers who are managing the stocks or the inventories well, your wastage is less, your manufacturing process is perfect, you are not piling the inventory, you are calculating your finished goods, you are calculating your sales demand, you are say forecasting your demand in future and producing according to that only. All those planning related to the production would help you in having the lesser need of working capital, right? Because everything is planned by you in a so meticulous way that you might not have to invest lot in current assets because of the rolling cycle of your supplies and of your sales. The next point is availability of raw material. Now assume that you are getting raw material on demand immediately, then you might not have to stock, or you might not have to have a piles of stock, right? However, in case of non availability or seasonal availability of raw material, you will have to keep some buffer stock, right? You have to keep your stocks at high levels so as to meet the future demands. Now, for example, seasonal fruits, say strawberries and mangoes, they would come only in summers and winters respectively. So you have to invest high in those seasons because you have to maintain a stock of it throughout the year. Now mangoes are only available, a good quality mangoes would only available in summers. So if you are having a juices factory, you will have to run the juice factory 12 months, right, a year. So for that you will have to stock mangoes, right? You have to maintain good level of stocks, and also you will have to have a cold storage, right? So in this case your investment in inventory, investment in warehousing would be higher because your raw material is not available round the year, right? So in addition to it, the one more term you have to understand here is known as lead time. Lead time is a time lag between placement of order and actual receipt of the material. As I said in the beginning, if you are getting your raw material immediately on placing the order, right, means your lead time is zero. As soon as you place the order, you get the raw material, so your lead time is zero. So if you have zero lead time, you might not stock so much, resulting in lesser needs of working capital. On the other way, if your lead time is higher, as I said, that you cannot get mangoes in the season of winters or monsoon, you have to wait till summers. So here your lead time is quite high. So you will have to stock a good amount so that you can run your factory round the clock, round the year. So if the lead time is higher, then higher would be the need of working capital. I hope this point is clear to you all. Then comes growth prospects. The firm with higher growth prospects needs higher amount of working capital so that it is able to meet higher productions and sales targets whenever required. If your firm is growing at a commendable pace, right, you know that within next 6 months or a year or years to come, your firm is going to grow in terms of sales turnover, in terms of employees, in terms of other expansion modes, then you would have the higher needs of working capital and vice versa. Next is level of competition. If the market is highly competitive, a firm may have to maintain higher stocks of finished goods than its competitors, so that no client of yours, no customer of yours would go with empty hands to your competitors. So, and also if you are having your business in a very competitive market, more credit period has to be given by you to your customers, resulting in higher level of debtors. So more working capital is required, because if you do not give good credit to your customers would move to your competitors who might give good credit period. So if you think on the other lines, say you are working in a monopoly market, right, wherein only one seller and many buyers are present, then your firm would require less working capital, because not today then tomorrow customers will come back to you. while if you are operating in a highly competitive market, you will have to maintain good stocks, right, so that your customer does not go anywhere, right? You cannot say that I am not having this variety at present, you please come tomorrow. The customer won't turn up tomorrow, rather it would go to the next shop and buy whatever he or she wants, because the market is competitive, there are many sellers and many buyers. So you have to keep your stocks updated, and you have to offer good variety and also credits, so that you do not lose your customers to your competitors. Next is the last point, inflation or rising prices. Inflation, as you know, means a continuous increase in prices. In such a situation, a firm requires more working capital to maintain the existing level of production and sales, because you know that if you do not buy today, tomorrow the prices may go up, like this is happening in the gold and silver prices right now, right? So all the shopkeepers who are involved in jewelry business might pile up the gold or silver or any commodity in which they are trading, right? They may rather would like to have more stocks at a lesser prices, because they know that the prices are going to rise in next few days, months or years, right? So it is better to have a stock. So if you are facing inflation, your economy is continuously facing the problem of inflation, that is also a sign of a growing economy. A growing or a developing economy would always face the problem of inflation. So in such cases, you have to keep a lot of inventory, and that might hit you hard on your working capital needs. So this is all about the working capital and its factors affecting. In this chapter, let me revise from the beginning. Just a moment. In this chapter of financial management, we studied the concept of financial management, we studied its objective, the wealth maximization objective, we studied the three types of financial decisions and their factors affecting. Then we studied financial planning, its objective, twin objectives, right? Then we studied importance of financial planning. So the chapter is divided basically into three. First, financial management, second, financial planning, and the third is capital structure decision, in which we studied the two examples, EBIT EPS analysis and one homework sum. We did two types of analysis. First was EBIT EPS through these two sums, and then ROI, return on investment analysis. We observed the changes happening on the capital structure due to the presence of debt, and then we studied the factors affecting to such capital structure decision. Then we also studied fixed capital and factors affecting to the fixed capital, and then the last part of the chapter, working capital, its need and its factors affecting. Now in the next video, I'll be explaining the two important case studies. Okay, thank you and have a nice day.